colleges are starting to recognize that.
Okay, for some reason it just popped up live. So I just want to start all over. Hey, I'm Cody Thomas with Pure Prospects Podcast. We're live. Tonight we have one of the biggest guys in Kentucky, Jordan Mitchell, the number one recruit for the Blue Chips Global. He represents the Indy Heat on the Nike EYBL circuit. He plays for Louisville Mail in one of the toughest regions in the state. He holds offers from Oklahoma State, TCU, Virginia Tech, and in-state school Morehead State, with huge interest from schools like Louisville, North Carolina, Illinois, Ohio State, Villanova. I know Notre Dame's come down and seen you. I think I said Missouri and Houston. Jordan also just partnered up with the team for his NIL with a nice partnership. We're going to talk about that as well. But we're going to talk tonight about his recruiting. He just picked up two big offers and had a huge weekend in Memphis at the Nike EYBL. He averaged 17.8 points uh, against the best in the nation. Jordan continues to be consistent, playing well against elite competition every time he shows up. First game, he had 24, 2 and 3, followed it up with the 21, 5 and 5, and then a 13, 4 and 2 game, and then finished with a 13, 5 and 4 game. So Jordan, I mean, there's a reason why you're the number one recruit we have at Blue Chips Global. You've been blowing up, and we just appreciate you coming on tonight. Uh, we just really do appreciate you coming on. So first off, man, I just want to congratulate you on those two offers, Oklahoma State and TCU, two Big 12 schools. That's awesome, dude, to add to your other offers. Um, your name is really starting to blow up across the nation. Most of us in Kentucky know all about you, and if you don't, people are going to find out. And big spring session for the on the EYBL with Indy Heat. So, man, what's this journey been like for you? Over this last year, seeing like your recruitment blow up and just the exposure, getting a new NIL deal. Like, what's that been like?
I said at the end of the day, it's been a blessing. Just showing all the hard work that I've been putting in, everything people have been putting into me, everything I have been doing myself, and my family. It should just continue to let me know like what I'm doing is actually working, and what I'm doing is actually something that is going to help me in the aftermath. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's just continue to let me know like the harder you work, the more you're gonna get out of things in life.
So, a lot of people are just now hearing about Jordan Mitchell nationally, but man, they don't realize how much work has gone in getting to this point. For people that may not know your story yet, when do you really start feeling like basketball could become something major for you, dude?
Are you asking when did it? Like when did it?
Yeah. Yeah, when did
Um,
you think basketball was going to be something major for Jordan Mitchell?
I'm saying I'll say my seventh grade year when me personally started wanting to always get in the gym. I wanted to work out, and also that's when my main sport I played baseball. I started to fall out of love for baseball and started to love basketball way more and want to play basketball, basketball, basketball.
That's awesome. Seventh grade. So since then, man, you've had your head down. So one thing that stands out when watching you play is like your confidence and your poise. Man, you don't really seem to get rattled by pressure, big crowds, your ranking, or like the competition you go up against. Like I said, man, no matter where you go across the country, whether it's a camp, whether it's a tournament, wherever you're invited to, dude, you always show up and show out. So where do you think that mindset comes from, dude?
I say that mindset just comes from me always being an underdog. Me always being looked over, people putting people ahead of me that shouldn't be. I mean, I've went down and dominated them over and over, but they still put them ahead of me. I feel like the underdog mindset that I got gets me really far and gets me situations like gets me into doors, but then my talent and all that helps me stay in the door.
So you're playing on the biggest grassroots AAU scene in the country with the Indy Heat, the Gym Rats. Like I said on the EYBL. For people watching that may not understand how intense the EYBL is, explain what it feels like walking into those gyms every weekend, dude.
Walk into those gyms, you seeing, live session with the coaches and all that. It was really hostile. You see a lot of more energy, high energy games. Everything's fast paced. It's like kind of like a college game. and you realize, but you then you see the difference from 15 U's, 16 U's, and 17 U. 17 U, they're like basically college freshmen. Games are like college games. I mean, they're refing like that. They got shot clocks. They got it's on NBA TV live now. So like you're playing against, you're playing in front of everybody you want to play in front of.
So let's just dive into that for a second. What's it like? Can you explain to the people watching? You're playing on the EYBL. That's already the elite of the elite. But what's the difference in going into EYBL session one and then going into session two, where it's live period, where you're going to see the top coaches. You're going to see Coach Cal, Mark Pope. Uh, you're going to see all those guys in the gym, plus celebrities. Is there a different mindset for you and the guys going in there, or is it just business as usual?
I feel like at the end of the day, it's just business because just because those people show up, that shouldn't change the character of your team. At the end of the day, you should always stick to who you are.
So, how much is playing in an environment like that elevated your game, like mentally?
I say mentally, it lets you know, like, it also lets you knows where you at, but it lets you knows you can make any little mistake can ruin like something for your future at the end of the day, because you could have a bad game and like after that, a coach might not want you no more. Just to see how you react and all that. Say the shot's not falling, you got to still have high energy, still keep your head up.
So, one thing that really stood out that I seen your numbers from session two at Memphis was like the consistency. I've been talking about your consistency, at all your camps, games. You average on 18 points a game and double figures every single game, which that's huge accomplishment in itself on the EYBL. Like, what was clicking for you offensively this past weekend?
I say offensively, the first two games were my shots. I'll definitely say that my shot was clicking. Just being able to read defenses at the end of the day, seeing what the defense gives you, and me exploiting that. I gotta help my teammates. My teammates put me, well, I put my teammates in great positions, but then they also put me in great positions to score. And then also going to crash the glass on the offensive tip, getting the rebound stuff and going back up. That helped me a lot.
So your game, you had I think it was 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Uh, a complete performance, man. Like for from a guard in your class during the session. Like, what do you feel like you were locked in with mentally during that game?
So that game was actually against my old team, versus Bradley
Oh,
Trail.
okay.
I feel like that game I was kind of focused on dominating. I wanted At the end of the day I wanted to win. We didn't end up winning, but I was just playing. I was playing to get my team to win at the end of the day.
Like I said, what impressed me the most was watching your performance, how complete your game looks. 21, 6 and 5 on the EYBL live session. Like that's just complete. Playing the guard position. You weren't just scoring, you weren't just facilitating, rebound or defending, making reads or controlling the game. So, how much pride do you take in being like an all around player instead of just like scoring the rock?
I'd actually take a lot of pride in that because at the end of the day, in college, you might not be scoring the way you're scoring in high school. You might be given a different role. So I feel like at every aspect of the game, you got to be able to produce.
So you guys, I think, hit into session three in Kansas City. You got the Oakland Soldiers, the JL3 up playing Moken Elite, and then you got to roll into Las Vegas against
Um,
Mean Streets, Team Fire, the Legends, Houston Hoops, and AZ Unity. Man, that's slobber knockers every single game. Like you don't have a cupcake. So what excites you the most heading into the live periods? Going into session three and session four.
I'll say just bringing more energy at the end of the day. But also, what excites me is me being able to play against the best of the best that people consider throughout America. Me and my teammates showing why we deserve to be qualified for Peach. Um, and also just continue to play my game and showing everybody in the nation why I am who I am.
That's the thing about the EYBL, man. There's no games off. So every matchup is just loaded with, high major kids, players. Like, do you enjoy playing against a nationally ranked competition like that, or just, does it give you a chance to prove that you can put yourself against those guys day in, day out, every game?
Yeah, I definitely love playing against the best of the best because then it lets you know where you are at too. And me been playing against the best of the best basically my whole life. And especially during these EYBL sessions, it really lets me know where my game is and how I've elevated my game since last year, and also how they have elevated their game. But
Mhm.
it also lets you know where you stand at in the country.
So you've played against some of the top guys in the nation. Man, who do you think is the toughest guy you've got to face so far? And what made that matchup difficult for you?
Are we saying like this season?
Yeah, in the UIBL. Let's roll with that.
I say my friend Brady Pettigrew. I say he's probably been my toughest matchup because a lot of people say we're kind of the same player when it comes to the scoring tip, but like I've seen him a lot, he's seen me a lot, so like we kind of both know what we like what each other can do.
So, like, what stood out? Was it like his athleticism, like his skill set, his IQ, his physicality, or like shot making? Like, was he just more physical? Is he more physical than other guys, or is he just more athletic, quick, or what is it about him?
I'll say his shot making. He's able to hit a lot of difficult shots with a hand in his face. He's able to hit those.
So, do you think playing against him or the guys, like the tough guys, do you think that brings out the best of you competitively?
Yeah, definitely for sure. You know, that was actually the game I had the 21-6-5. That game was at 8 in the morning. Coach Cal, everybody you could think of was at that game. And me and him, like the first quarter, we were just going back and forth, tit for tat with the scoring and all that. So I feel like yes, that brings out the best competitor in me because then it lets me know like they came to play, so I can't be slacking.
So, what's your mentality like, knowing you're matched up against one of the top guys in the country and you have all that attention around the game? What's your mentality?
My mentality at the end of the day is just really kill. At the end of the day, if I play hard, I mean I don't got nothing to lose. You feel me? If I play hard, then me playing hard is gonna bring success to me. That's going offensive rebounds, going back up, scoring, getting stops on defense. At the end of the day, those plays like that are gonna, as long as I put my team in a position to win, I feel like I did my job.
Man, I love that mentality that you got. Have you ever had like a welcome to the EYBL moment where you just walked in and realized like how much higher the level of competition is there instead of like being in Kentucky night in and out and out. Your region and you're in is tough, but like, have you ever had that welcome to the EYBL moment?
I'll say when I walked in the gym last year, Memphis, we walked in the gym and we seen the game between Oakland Soldiers and Team Takeover on the fall court. The court surrounded. Every coach in America was on the baseline. Just seeing the how EYBL is like with the top and the top matchups. Tyron Stokes playing, Jordan Smith Jr. People like that. It just really lets you know like you're at the top of the top and like you feel me. Ain't no slacks.
I remember the first time I visited a EYBL event. They had one over at KBC and KBA in Lexington.
Hmm.
Yeah, man, it was just like it was a totally different environment. The atmosphere, just everything was so different. Being around, I've been to a lot of AAU events, but when they had that event down in Lexington, it's just a different feel inside that gym. But you're 6'4", you're very versatile. It really stands out. You can handle the rock, create for yourself, create for others, and score the rock at all three levels. Man, and you get dirty, rebound the ball, you defend multiple positions. Like, what areas of your game do you think you've been focused on improving? More most recently.
I'll say being a leader. That's been the biggest one that we've been working on. You know, ever since the male season too. Continue to sharpen my handles and and perfect my shot, but also learning how to like read different mismatches and defenses, stuff like that.
So we all see the highlights, man. We see your offers, we see the interest, but we don't see the hours that you put in the gym behind the scenes. What does a typical training week look like for Jordan Mitchell?
A typical training week with school is probably I get done with school, which that is exhausting. Get done with school, go to PT, then I go lift, and I come home, probably take a nap for like 30 minutes, and after that I go work out at night, and then I repeat it again. But if it's like a day where I don't got school, I probably be doing two a days with like the working out on the court and stuff.
So talking about your workout, like how important is strength training and like conditioning, become now since you're playing against the elite of the elite on the national level on the UIBL?
I say strength and conditioning is very important because you got to be able to withstand the bumps. You know, there's big guys on UIBL. You got to take bumps, go through contact, but you got to do that day in and night out because the next day you got another heavy hitter. So you got to be in great shape because say you doing a lot for your team, but then you're not in shape to you got to come out. Then that could blow the lead. Other team could start winning, and like, but if you give a lead up in EYBL, they're gonna run away with it. So you gotta be able to be in shape and also be in good condition with your body.
Nice. So, are there any players, the NBA guys, college guys that you study or like model parts of their game after?
I say I've been watching a lot of Jalen Brunson. You know, he's been having a great playoff run. Him and in college, mm, a lot of people be like, they say I play like Darius Acuff, Mikael Brown. I feel like it's a mix of both. I'll say that.
So let's talk about a little bit about adversity and talk about like your recovery from your injury. One thing that I respect, and I think a lot of people respect about you, is how you really handled that adversity and battled back from your injury. A lot of young people or players struggle mentally during that process. How difficult was that for you when you were injured? You couldn't play. Uh, how difficult that for you mentally?
Mentally, it was really challenging because all this work I've done put in for the season and stuff. I want to showcase what I can do. Seeing my team out there, and I'm like me feeling like I'm letting them down sometimes because I'm not playing and all that. But at the end of the day, I feel like I really like realized like basketball can be taken away from you in an instant. It's never promised that you can be able to play basketball. So just taking every day, I'm able to do that, being grateful about it and going about it the right way.
Great mindset. So, what kept you motivated while you were recovering?
Some my dad will say him, but not really. Um, at the end of the day, what kept me motivated is knowing like my seniors, some of my best friends I consider. My seniors, it's their last year, and me wanting to go to state. The state title was really the thing that was motivating me the most. We fell short, but that's what kept me pushing and kept me in high hopes because I know when I come back, if we start rolling how we should be, we're gonna have a good chance to win state.
Do you think going through that process made you mentally tougher?
Definitely for sure.
So sometimes adversity changes your appreciation for the game, and you just spoke about that. So did that change your mindset, or that experience change your mindset any of all? You just spoke about how being grateful to play ball, but it can be taken away. Do you have another take on that?
Um, Not so much. I just feel like sometimes, like even like I've been victim of this. Like we wake up every day thinking like a lot of stuff is just supposed to happen, but like God, well, I'm a big believer in God can take it away at any moment. So I feel like you got to be grateful for everything that you're able to do because others may not be able to do that.
So let's talk about your recruiting and the recruiting process. Your recruitment is really taking off. You just picked up two offers from Big 12 schools, Oklahoma State, TCU, and like you have offers from Virginia Tech and Morehead State, and interest from Louisville, Michigan, Ohio State, Auburn, Illinois, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Houston, Missouri, UNC. If I miss any, I think Villanova's in that list too. Tennessee, I think I said. So what's the if I miss any, man,
Nah,
fill me in.
you miss Iowa, Iowa.
Iowa, okay, Iowa. So what's this recruiting process been like so far for you?
I say it's been very enjoyable. Talking to different college coaches, seeing like what they have to offer. Seeing how life is like in college. Seeing their view of how they think my game is. That's been good. Really interacting with them, seeing how the coaches are as people. At the end of the day, they are human too. Seeing like when they break it down to you, like the difference between college and high school and all that. But at the end of the day, my recruitment has been very enjoyable so far, and I want to continue being able to get recruited.
So with all these schools reaching out consistently, does it ever like feel so surreal?
Yeah, it's like that. we like you dreamed about it since you was young, so it's like it's crazy that it's really happening now. So I feel like yes, it does. And then sometimes I sit back and I just be like the people you see before me, like say like all the college players, like I have a chance to be one of them or like one of them in the NBA. That like how I'm working, and how I'm producing, I can have a chance to be one of them.
So as your recruitment continues to grow, like what kind of program or coaching staff are you really looking for to be playing for at the next level?
I feel like coaching staff I'm really looking for is someone that I'm able to bond with. They believe in me and have high hopes in what I can do, and but also a coach that's is gonna be on me, push me, stuff like that. But kind of like a coaching staff that's more like a family.
So more like a family. So how important is like building that relationship with other players, and being known for player development, a system that fits your versatility, lets you play freely, uh, a staff or the program that can help you prepare for the NBA, and or just a place like it like feels like home or believes in both of you on and off the court.
I say pretty much everything you said. Like that's all important. Player development, helping me grow as a player. Also having the connections that can help me go to the next level. Um, Also a coaching staff like or like a head coach or like a team that's also gonna help you become a better person. At the end of the day, like because the basketball is gonna stop bouncing one day. Like what connection can they help me with, say outside of basketball, stuff like that, and like am I gonna be able to come back and feel welcome and love when I come back, stuff like that.
So when you talk to these coaches, what separates the ones that stand out to you the most?
Um, I'll say how they really view me. A lot of these coaches, like say for instance, like Virginia Tech, they always loving me, you feel me, loving on me, making sure like I'm okay, having a safe ride back from like Memphis. Congratulating my game, watching all my games, is really showing me that like I really matter to that program.
Nice, just making sure, like being genuine, sincere. So,
Yes, sir.
what kind of advice are those coaches giving you, or scouts like giving you lately, as your game continues to rise, but so is your recruitment. It's rising nationally. So, what kind of advice those high level guys giving you right now?
I'll say one is being consistent, continue to do what I'm doing every single day. But also another big one is continue to do this little things that's gonna make a coach want to have you on the court. I feel like that's a big one, and a lot of them praise on like my aggression, how I play, the passion I play with, and like the little things that I do. So that really helps me realize like sometimes it's not all about scoring points. A lot of people get in the head it's all about scoring, scoring, scoring. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, college you might not be going to score, you might be going to play defense. So it's really big on knowing your role and being able to do everything.
So, how much does like developing physically, improving consistently, being more vocal as a leader, uh, big one, defending at a high level, and staying focused and humble, like throughout this whole process? How much do you hear that from those guys?
You hear that a lot, because at the end of the day, college is gonna be even crazier, especially the end, staying humble and all that. Everybody gonna have something to say in your ear. You gotta know who you are truly and be on the stage yourself. Never let the fame get to you is a big thing I hear a lot, because some people can fail with that and it goes bad. But I feel like staying humble and just putting your head down, continue to grind, and I feel like nothing bad can come from that.
So, what's the best piece of advice you've gotten so far throughout this process?
The best piece of advice, I say patience. Being able to Everybody has their own time. I'll say that.
How important is player development for you specifically when you're evaluating these schools?
It's big because at the end of the day, when I go to college, I want to go to college to get better. And I feel like if I put myself in a situation where I'm committing to like your college, I want to know that like when I get there, I'm gonna be a better basketball player, a better person. Help me build on the court stuff and off the court stuff too, and also strength and conditioning. Just overall, make me a better person on the court and off the court.
So, have any schools really stood out relationship wise so far? I know you said Virginia Tech. Any other schools?
I say Ohio State today. They called, stuff like that, just reaching in, checking in, and like wanting to continue to build a relationship. That's a big one. Michigan, they made me feel like family. A strong relationship, invited me back to practice and all that. When I was supposed to end the visit, but invited me back to practice because he wanted me to come see how they prepare for Michigan State. They ended up beating. So those are a few schools that really stick out to me.
So let's talk about NIL. It's one of the biggest things right now. Everybody wants to talk about it around basketball and building your brand and how important that is. So you just signed your NIL partnership with the team, which is huge, especially as a 2028. A lot of players dream about opportunities like that. So what was that moment like for you when everything became official?
I feel like that moment is just like kind of like a reassurance of like that your hard work is paying off. At the end of the day, that people are starting to notice you. With that, I got a lot of business partners such as Darren Peterson, Stephon Castle, people in a lot of high places. So it lets you know like you're on a similar track that they are. But at the end of the day, NIL and all that, that's cool. But basketball is the main focus.
So, like I said, we're in a completely different era now where branding really matters almost as production on the floor. How important is building your personal brand and representing yourself the right way, both and off the court?
I said it's very important because at the end of the day, like, we're getting paid to go to college now. How you handle yourself, how your image is, they really care about that because they're gonna have companies wanting to reach out to maybe brand you and stuff. But if you don't brand yourself and carry yourself the right way or post yourself the right way, or like that's how people's gonna see you. So if that looks bad, no brand is gonna wanna put you a part of their brand.
Yeah, every player that I get to work with, I pretty much explain it to them like this: you are your own business. You're an investment for any program. They're under a lot of pressure to win games, and if they don't, they're losing their job. So
Mm.
you have to sell yourself the best product that you can on and off the floor. And a lot don't understand that NIL is just bigger than money. It's about being professional. It's about building good relationships, being marketable, and how you carry yourself every day. What have you learned so far through the NIL process?
I learned that it's real tricky. I'll say that. Sometimes you might want to get with another company, but like, say if you get with that company, you won't be able to get with this company because of the contract. I feel like you got to really be strategic on how you move and what deals you accept.
Do you feel like playing on the EYBL and building your social media presence has helped your exposure grow nationally?
For sure. At the end of the day, social media is a real good market tool now to market yourself, like you said, being your own brand. But social media has easy access for people to see you, and like you can have someone in Wyoming see you stuff, and now they're a fan of you. So now you got fans in Wyoming too. But what with EYBL, that helps me build my market brand and my social media because I'm playing against the best of the best. So now like you can't be no weak person if you putting up numbers like this against the best of the best. But then when I post those clips on social media, that helps other people that maybe couldn't get to the EYBL event see that what I'm doing against top talent and that I'm one of the top talents out there in the country.
So as your profile, your brand continues to grow, how important is it for Jordan Mitchell to stay humble, to stay focused, and continue to put in work day in and day out?
That's important because the day you stop working is the day someone pass you up. And in this basketball game, you don't want nobody to pass you up because then they might get a deal that you were supposed to get, but you couldn't because you stopped working, so they passed you up. But at the end of the day, just staying humble is the main thing, never getting too above yourself, too high or too low. You got to continue to be you. I like to continue to be me before I became successful in basketball. That's what helps me.
What are your biggest goals for the rest of the EYBL?
My biggest goal is at the end of the day is to win Peace Jam. You know, I don't know I know the last time last year 16U's won Peace Jam for Indy Heat, and I want our 16U team to win Peace Jam too.
What part of your game do you want to improve the most by the end of this summer?
Part of my game by the end of summer. Mm, I don't know. I'll say probably work on my pace more. A lot of things I play very hard, so a lot of things are fast speed. I want to work on, slowing down and stuff because that's going to help me see different options to exploit the defense.
Yeah, pace tempo. That's awesome. So by the end of the summer, what do you want college coaches, scouts, and the media saying about Jordan Mitchell?
I want them saying he's him. He's the truth. Kind of like Anthony Edwards said, you know, giving them, I want them to say that he's someone that they need on their team and on their campus.
So what motivates you every single day to keep pushing and chasing your goals?
Um, I'll say the biggest thing is my city, to be honest. Not a lot of people from Louisville go out and get to do the things that I do. And, a lot of people, like my friends I see in school, like at the end of the day, they look up to me. I'll say a lot of people look up to me because they see me as like someone who's actually like changed the narrative about Louisville kids and is doing something big and good for themselves. And I want to be someone like people can look up to from the city of Louisville and be like, I can be like him and I want to be like him.
Let's talk about that a little bit. You know, being able to represent not only Louisville, man, but Kentucky and the narrative on just Kentucky talent as it is. How big do you think it is to to keep continuing to push to be that guy, one of the top guys or the top guy for those kids to change, the thoughts about Kentucky kids staying home instead of, hey, I need to go out to this prep school or this other school to make it to this Power Four school or this Bluebird school.
I say the biggest thing is showing people that there's a chance here in Kentucky too. Everybody thinks yes, you got to go say prep or like go away, but like if you're able to do what you can do and showcase what you can do and have the marketing and the push behind you, I mean, they're gonna be able to see you. If you can play, you can play. They're gonna come see you.
Yeah, so let's have a little fun, some rapid fire. Who's your favorite NBA player?
LeBron James,
Hardest player you've ever played against in your career?
Trent Noah,
Oh, you're a LeBron guy. Oh boy. Favorite shoe to hoop in?
Kobe Fives.
Dream school when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, Duke.
Oh no. Favorite gym you played in?
Favorite gym I played in, North Augusta Peach Jam, main court.
Best EYBL moment so far?
Best gotta be a moment. I say just spending time with my teammates in the hotels.
So let's talk about your playlist. What's your favorite pregame artist?
ESTG from Louisville,
Who?
Kentucky. ESTG from Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, you just put him on the map, I think. One word to describe your game.
One word. Mm, One word to describe my game. That's a hard one. Re-ask that question.
One word. One word to describe your game.
Killer.
That's exactly what I was saying. So, Jordan, man, I appreciate you for coming on the show, bro. You're definitely one of the biggest young stars in the nation. And so, everybody needs to keep a close eye on you moving forward, dude. You got the size, the skill set, the versatility, the feel for the game, and especially the work ethic. And I think the mentality, to keep jumping on, jump off the page. Averaging, nearly 18 points per game on the EYBL, man. And as a rising 2028 prospect, and you're continuing to expand your all around game, man, that's extremely impressive. The production, man, you have the poise, versatility, and the upside are all there. And it's easy to see why, so many high major programs are starting to, prioritize Jordan Mitchell nationally. Man, we just appreciate you taking time to join us. We'll definitely be following your journey throughout the rest of the EYBL season and moving into next high school season. We just appreciate you taking the time, your dad over there with you to join us. We'll be following you, be following you. And for everybody else that's watching, if you're looking for, recruiting exposure, player management, branding, social media growth, graphics, like some scouting coverage, interviews, articles, or national exposure, make sure you tap in with me over at Pure Prospects. We're one of the fastest growing basketball brands, on and off the court. We'll help you with your social media game. We'll help you be professional in your emails. I help create the graphics over Star Edits. Get you something sweet, catches eyes. attach your clips with it, man. So people, if they catch that graphic, they can see a clip of you playing, and just let people start talking about you. But continue to build your brand, do well on and off the court, be humble. And before I hop out of here, I want to talk about two kids that I just picked up today. Jacob Childs, he's a 6'2" redshirt freshman over at Brescia, shooting guard, and Lazarus Mason the second. He's a 6'2" combo guard from Atlanta. He's transferring out of Pearl River Community College. So I just want to give a shout out to those two guys. You know, they're both seeking transfer opportunities. Can't wait to see what we can do for them moving forward. And make sure you subscribe to us over here on Substack. Hey Jordan, before we hop off of here, man, drop your social media tags so everybody can find Jordan Mitchell.
At Baby Luca 15 on all platforms. J2 underscore Mitch on TikTok.
Oh, on TikTok.
Mhm.
So Instagram, X. I'm sure you're on Facebook. Anything else?
Nah.
Well, this podcast, Pure Prospects podcast, has been powered by Blue Chips Global. Hey, we'll catch you guys next time. You guys stay safe.